Greetings. We are back.
Greetings.
So we are in episode 3. We dove into our emotions. We dove into what happened the day after. We spoke about the feelings, the trauma, the pain, and the tears. And now we are at what is there to live for. When we go into that space, when I go into that space, I think about the fact that yes, there's my children there. There's my children to live for. There's more parenting to do. There's more nurturing and loving to do. But at the time, that's not what I felt. And I went into a space of what am I doing here? He's gone on to his journey and he's completed his mission, but what am I doing? What's next for me? And I stayed in that space because I was begging for that answer. I wanted to know what is there to live for. In that process, Debbie, where did you go in finding what there was to live for?
That's a big question. And in keeping it real, I know when that question came, it was like a rock. It knocked me down. I just didn't have a reason to live for it. In that moment, I lost a child. I should have been the one gone, not him. And I think what brought me out of that was a call that I'd gotten that really helped pull me through and me seeing, understanding a little bit and seeing that I had 2 other kids that needed me, my grandchild, my marriage, friends that love me, and the strength and my belief and that helped me get up out of the darkness in that moment. I think it is so scary that you wonder if there's something wrong, why you feeling like, oh my God, why am I here? And as you said, trying to understand what is the purpose now. I think even if you don't have, and this is, I can't share for any other mom who maybe this is their only child they had, but it's finding that that glimpse of hope in something, because as you said, when you keep asking why am I living, it's keeping it real and feeling those feelings and being able to find a light somewhere and a hope somewhere.
Most definitely. I think that's probably what saved me. I think at points in time, knowing that like I have children, I have more children. I think that helped me to refocus at moments and times. It was not 100% focus all the time, but I would catch myself and have to go back to that. There's still children here for you. There's still children that are relying on you, that are waiting for you. And although I went into a place that I became very robotic, this is, the day-to-day, what has to happen, the day-to-day living, not going back to work, because I did not go back to work for a while, but just knowing that, life is still going, and even though when I did feel and I had to say to myself, what is there to live for? There was so much, but I couldn't see that. That's not how the experience felt in the moment in time. And we've witnessed many mothers, especially, that go into this mode where, they're almost demanding, like, I'm supposed to go first. And it's can be a very traumatic thing to witness, but we can understand.
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
that's the norm. That's what
That's
we
the norm.
assume is the norm, right?
Yeah. And then when the norm goes a different way,
And it's not the norm.
it's not the norm. You don't know how to like create something new out of what your norm is, of what you think it's supposed to be. I think one of the things I had to do, I still question the purpose, the why. Why, God, did you let him go? Why? And I know when I was into those dark spots, I mean, when I had the strength, I did some counseling. I couldn't sleep, and so, what worked for me, I had to get some medical sleeping pills too. But I think as we continue on in this journey, I think it is so important to keep it real, and I think it go back to the purpose of us doing this. Is that being okay with your feelings, and because it is so real, and know when to recognize that this is taking you over, and you need a bit more than just processing it, that you need more, you need another hand to hold you.
Yeah. And also adding to that it's okay. It's okay that you're not okay. It's okay that like you feel like you're below the water and it's a little bit longer than you expect to be. It's okay. It's okay that you don't know what you're living for. It's okay if you don't know today what you're living for. And you might know Tuesday what you are living for, and you get to Friday and you don't know anymore. That's okay. And I think that's a big part of the process, is allowing ourselves that space, and we create our own safe space, right? A lot of people don't know how to do that for us. And no one's going to be able to answer, well, Roxanne, what are you living for? What are you still here living for? Only I can answer that for myself.
True. Well said. I think also, I as things, certain things that will come in, like the anniversary, the holidays, and as the holidays, the time we're doing this is it's coming close to my son's birthday, Christmas. We just passed Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That I go back to that space. God, why? Why am I? What is my purpose now? And I think what has helped me in this point is I sometimes smile on just who my son was and his energy, and him just saying, it's okay, Mom, it's okay. You can do this, you got this. It helps in those moments to carry you through. And I think it's really important, I guess we say about, like you're saying, that you never know what when you're gonna have those moments, and the next day you might go back, retrieve back, and things like that. So it's okay for those, because this is the part of grief, right? It's up and down, it's all over the place. Yeah.
And the reminders are the small things sometimes. Sometimes we're looking for these huge occurrences, these examples, these revelations, and sometimes it's just the small things, like you say, having that moment where he's letting you know, Mom, it's okay. Like, there's nothing like that moment. And maybe to some it's small, but it is huge because of what it brings to us. In that experience, it can bring you back to like, okay, I'm here, and I'm I'm doing what I came here to do, so it is going to be okay. You know?
Yeah, it is. May not feel it at times, but and I think it's really, I think for both of us in doing this podcast, and we're not expert, as you can see, our videos probably raw, but we really wanted to keep it real, and I think too many times, even I do that sometimes, when it gets to a point in how many years you've lost your child that you think nobody wants to really hear it anymore. And why am I still feeling this way? But I think it's so important is to be true to self, and what works for you, and what is self, and you know, if you get to a dark spot, and as I said, you know, I got to a dark spot that I've never got to before, but then again, I've never lost a child before. And so I reached out for help. I needed even things to sleep. And as you said, Roxanne, you took off work. You were off work. So those things are important. But it's also important, it's so important to stay true to self.
Yes, most definitely. And we know many people are on this journey, in different parts of this journey, but we want to express that you're not alone. Reach out to someone who you trust with your heart. Reach out to me. I'll extend myself always. And allow yourself that liberty, that freedom to just pour out when you need to, and be mindful for your own heart that, like, it is the right place for you to do it, the right person, because it's important. And this is what we're here to do. We're here to be our brother's keeper. We're here to take care of each other through all different processes of life.
Yeah, true. And to go back to episode 2, for those of you who had watched episode 2, or I think it's episode 1, the thing about when we're doing this episode podcast, it becomes so heavy for us too, because we're going through this as we're doing this. But if we go back, you know, we talked about just some of the odd things we do. You know, we try to make, you know, find the smiles in some of the within the craziness of some of this stuff. And I think that's one of the things to do. If you look in episode 2, I think you talked about just, you know, following that young man.
Yeah. And knowing that it could never be him, but it is, I don't know, it was me letting the crazy be crazy, and it is what it is. And not to be apologetic for it, to allow yourself.
Yeah. Not to be, and just, yeah, we both still, you see things and you're like, that could, you know, oh, you know, it makes you jump. It brings you back. I think what keeps us going, what keeps you going now, Roxanne?
I think knowing that I will meet him one day again. I think that's something that I really have, that pops into my mind at times. And the fact that he will show me messages. I will see little messages, and I appreciate that, you know? And I think it's great that we can do this, because clearly this is one of the things that we're here for. This is what we're here for. This is one of the reasons. This right here.
True. And I think, and we never talked about how we end up meeting each other, but I think that's what keeps us going, that the universe and God puts things, aligns things, and take the wheel. And what keeps me going, my breath is just the little things, the grandkids, my faith, and sometimes my bitterness and rage keeps me going, keeps me smiling. Those who have extended hands in love, but the pain doesn't go away.
Mm-hmm.
You just find the hope, and as you say, you find the light. And I remember my son, you know, I think about just some of the silly stuff that he used to do that was just his character, that just remind me of his love and his strength that keeps me going. So
Definitely.
mm-hmm.
So as we know, this is what we're here for. We end this piece as we honor our children by honoring our healing. Until next time, take it one breath, one step, one day at a time.
Until next time, be well.
Well.